Okay, let me ask you something. Have you ever tried to lead a change at work only to feel like you're just pushing against an invisible wall? If you're nodding right now, you are definitely not alone. In this explainer, we're going to pull back the curtain on those hidden forces, these invisible scripts that can totally sabotage our best efforts to make a difference.
This quote, it just gets right to the heart of the problem, doesn't it? We tell ourselves, oh, I'm just being logical. I'm being strategic, waiting for the perfect moment. But what if that's just a really convenient story? What if all those well-reasoned arguments for waiting are really just hesitation, all dressed up in a business suit? You know that feeling, right? You've got a great idea, you know it can work, but you're just met with this wall of resistance. The momentum stalls out, and you start to feel stuck, frustrated. You might even start to question yourself. The good news is, there are totally predictable reasons why this happens.
So, the source of that invisible wall, we're going to call them invisible scripts. Just think of them as the background code that's secretly running our decision-making. They're made up of all these unexamined assumptions, these unspoken fears, and these super unhelpful stories that basically dictate our actions. And today, we're dragging them out into the light. See, these three things, they form this powerful chain reaction. Our hidden assumptions, they breed fear. And then we use that fear to write these stories that justify why we just can't move forward. Let's break down exactly how this works. All right, let's start at the very foundation, the assumptions we're all operating under without even thinking about it. Now, these aren't just random thoughts, they are the bedrock of our plans. And when that bedrock is flawed, well, it leaves all these little cracks for fear to seep right in. And just look at how reasonable these sound. Of course, a good argument should be enough. Of course, being busy must mean we're making progress. But here's the thing, change is messy. It's about people, it's about emotions, it's not just about a perfect slide deck or a full calendar. Just take a second here. Do you recognize your own thinking in any of these? You know, that belief that if you just perfect your presentation one more time, then finally everyone will get on board? Yeah, seeing the script is the first step to being able to rewrite it. And this slide just illustrates the connection perfectly. So you're operating on the assumption that your logic is airtight, it's perfect. But then you present it, and people don't immediately jump for joy. And right there, that flawed assumption gives birth to a fear. Maybe the problem isn't the logic. Maybe it's me. Can I actually do this? You see, the assumption created the perfect opening for self-doubt. So we have these flawed assumptions that lead to fear, but it does not stop there. We take those assumptions and we take those fears and we weave them together into these really compelling stories, narratives that feel so true, but at the end of the day, they just limit what we believe is even possible. Let's start with an absolute classic story we tell ourselves, the hero narrative. This one is so common for passionate people who are really trying to make a difference. It feels noble, right? But it's actually a pretty dangerous trap. This is the story of you, the lone hero, up against the giant, fire-breathing dragon of organizational resistance. I mean, it's an epic tale, but it's also incredibly isolating, and it sets you up for total burnout. It makes asking for help feel like you're failing. But what happens if you ask this question instead? All of a sudden, the whole narrative shifts. It's no longer about your solo quest to slay the dragon. It's about building a coalition. It's about shared ownership. This one question shatters the hero script and opens the door to collaboration and, real sustainable progress. Okay, here's another popular one, and I think many of us are going to recognize this instantly. It's the story of us versus them. So, in this story, there's a very clear villain. It's that other department, or maybe that one skeptical executive, or that group of resistant colleagues. They are simply an obstacle to your brilliant plan. And this narrative, it feels really validating, but it completely slams the door on any chance of understanding or finding some common ground. Now, asking this question, it's a total game changer. It forces you to step out of your own story and actually consider that the opposition, they're probably not just being difficult for the fun of it. They likely have their own valid concerns, their own noble intentions. And finding that shared intention, that's the key to unlocking the gridlock. So after hearing all of this, it's really easy to feel a little called out, to think, wow, I do all of that, I must be the problem. But listen, here is a crucial reframe that is going to change everything. I mean, really think about it.
Were you ever given a class on how to navigate ambiguity? Or how to diagnose systemic resistance? Or how to rewrite your own internal stories? Probably not. Most of us were taught how to make a project plan, not how to lead a movement. Just let that sink in for a minute. Your struggle is not a sign that you're incompetent. It's a sign of a skills gap that your organization likely never taught you how to fill. So what you've been labeling as a personal failure is actually a systemic one. This is not your fault. So if it's not a personal failure, then what is it? It's an opportunity. It's an opportunity for you to learn these skills and to step into the kind of leadership that is uniquely yours. Let's talk about how to move from that hesitation in a suit to real, meaningful action. So many of us are just waiting for the right time, for all the stars to align, for leadership to give the perfect green light. But the truth is, readiness isn't something you find. It's something you build, one small step at a time. You create the conditions for change by actually starting.
This is how we can turn those nagging fears directly into a plan. Worried if it's the right time? Don't try to boil the entire ocean. Pick one small thing and just start building your change leading muscle. Doubting if you can do this? Of course you are. You learn this stuff by doing it, not by thinking about it. Worried it won't last? Don't try to be the hero, make it a team sport from day one. And look, if you're still hesitating, just think about this. We so often overestimate the risk of taking one small first step, while at the same time, we dramatically underestimate the very real, compounding cost of doing nothing at all. The status quo is not free. Staying stuck has a price. So I'm going to leave you with the ultimate question. Forget about what needs to change in some grand abstract sense. Based on your unique position, your perspective, your passion, what is the one change that only you can lead, right from where you are, right now? That is where your real work begins.